This is Speak On It. What's up? This Speak On It. Another episode, man, with a great guest. I'm the host, the life changer. Hey, I got my boy with me, Reggie's son. Y'all probably know him as Shorty Da Prince, Shorty the Kid, Shorty.
All that.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I got my boy here, man. I appreciate you coming, man.
Yeah, you know it.
What
You know it's fam way.
We go way back.
Yeah.
We go way back, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We were just sitting here talking about how, you know, it's good to be able to even do this.
Right,
Because, you know, it's been a while. We've been crossing each other paths, your whole family, whole trailway. You know, it's always been love, and it's a blessing to be able to sit here because there's a lot of people who we used to see back then that ain't here no more, or might be behind bars, or you know how it is. So man, it's just a blessing to be able to just sit here and do it.
Yeah, this just a different conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. This is a different conversation for me and you to have, man. And we just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Let's just go back.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go all the way back.
Okay.
To the Gateway Shorty.
Okay.
You know
Gateway,
what I'm saying? Where people didn't even know why. Like where people didn't, like you had to go home to your household. People didn't know some things about probably your mom, your dad, or like where do Shorty come from? Where do Jordan come from? Where do, you know what I'm saying, Reggie's son come from? Where do all these things come from? So let's just go back all the way to the beginning of the story. Yeah,
well, I'm, you know, of course, born and raised right here in the city. I'm on the south side, you know what I'm saying, South City, State Streets, came up over there. And I mean, to be honest, you know, I live my truth, you know, I'm one of the rare stories to where I came up in a two-parent household. You know what I'm saying? My mom and dad still married to this day. They've been married for, don't get me wrong, like 36 years, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's a blessing.
You know, man. And you know, we can get to that later, but that's one of the reasons why, you know, Reggie's son came into play, because it's unfortunate, but it's very, the common thing in our culture is that, you know, my daddy 1/3, F my daddy and all that, but that's not my truth. You know what I'm saying? My pops was there. He was my number one example of how to be a man. And so that's what I wanted to live up to, and kind of like an ode to him too, like a pat on the back, like, yeah, you know, you did that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not popular. It needs to be. And I see it more amongst our generation having kids. I'm seeing people be there for their kids, you know, so I love that, man. But yeah, just coming up, man, always love entertaining, bro. Like that's what it was. Like, you know, for those who don't know, like, how I got on the radio, like I was 12 years old, used to listen to Hype Man D Stone, and he used to play D Stone karaoke, and I used to call all the time, and like the first day I called and got on the radio, that was it. Like when he called, I called up there to rap, and when I heard myself on the air, bro, I started calling in every day after that. Like every day I come home, drop my book bag, call. So then one day I called and he was like, yo, we finna do this youngest DJ contest. And I even told him right then, like, DJ, man, I wanna rap, I don't wanna do that.
Right.
And you know, he let me play, so I called back again, and he didn't know me from anything else from being a little cat calling into the station. And he was like, yo, you need to consider this, like straight. That's why to this day, like, I call him for his advice, because I don't know what made him speak to me like that, but really put it on me to be like, yo, you need to consider this could open these doors or whatever. So, you know, it was a wild ride being here and, you know, going to Gateway. Like, it wasn't like I was on the radio every night and going to private school or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to Gateway. Like, I'm going to Gateway. I'm writing in public school. I'm getting off the air, getting out of school, going to a full-time job.
So when did you feel that this is my purpose? Like, because you've been doing this for a long time now. And if you ask me, I think that's what you should be doing.
Word.
With the radio,
just touching people, and I think ultimately that's what I realized was my purpose, was connecting to people and making people feel. like whatever emotion, you know what I'm saying? Like it's uplifting them, making them feel happy, sometimes making them, you know, if I'm telling a story about something, you know, even if you never been through that, you can empathize with that. Like I just know that I always had a thing for connecting with people, and radio, like I said, I wasn't one of them kids who went to school for radio and was like, I want to be on it. It was like I grew up in it, which made me love it from being in it and what it allowed me to do. But I always knew that, like, you know, like I said, I always loved entertaining, but then when I would see how what I did affected people or how I could change people's day just by shouting them out or just by talking to them a little longer on the phone, you know what I'm saying? That's when I realized, like, yo, God gave me, because we all got multiple gifts. And one of the things that we got to do is we got to give them. Like, for us to hold on to them is selfish, and that's against his will. So it's like, that's just one of my gifts, is connecting with people, entertaining.
That was most definitely one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Even when you left and went to Detroit or something, like it was still people that was here on the radio, and you would think it was you, because they was like almost sound like you. It's like, dang.
Because it was like the blue, because it was like you never heard, like, dog, I was the youngest employee in, which is now iHeartRadio, but it's Clear Channel. I was the youngest employee in Clear Channel history. Like, I remember when I was on, basically when I was on at 12, I had a Saturday morning show for 2 hours, and come to find out the contest I won was only supposed to be, because I won this contest, it was at the Palace. I got to introduce B2K, and I interviewed him, IMX and all that. And you know, I'm in the 7th grade, bro, so this is like, bro, like, you know, so, but, you know, after I was on for about 2 years, bro, they told me, yeah, the contest was only supposed to be for a month. Like, I just kept showing up, and to be real, they weren't paying me, but I was just figuring out ways to, you know, after a while, I started throwing parties and stuff. I'm like, you know, so I was straight. So then it was God engineering. By the time, as soon as I turned 16, they hired me full time. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, after that, everything else started.
So now we there.
Yeah.
So now we doing music.
Yeah, what?
And why it come about?
Yeah.
How did it come about? Like, how did it, like, who, like,
the lifestyle we was really living like that.
Right, who put all that together? Because when it hit the fan, it really hit the fan. Like,
and it was one of them things, bro, it was like, to be honest, a lot of people, you know, if you tap into me, you know, like, I got signed before Wow. Like, I got signed when I was 15 under Track Boys production. This is when Tipsy was going on, because that's why I'm in the Tipsy video. I'm like the only kid in the Tipsy video. I'm in Hood Hop, all that, because I got signed to Track Boys, and then when it got signed to Atlantic. So here I am, still in public high school. I remember they had got me a tutor because I'm going to New York for a month and going to LA for a month to record. And this is when I first really tapping in, you know, with Jim Johnson's and B.O.B.'s and Mano.
How did that feel? Like, how did that feel?
Man, it was surreal. It was like, it was one of them things, bro, that was like, I knew I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
It was like I said, like, I didn't have no other option. I remember being in school and people would be going to do their college apps and ACTs, and bro, I never tripped off none of that, because in my mind I was like, man, I ain't doing none of that. It was like, that was my mentality. Now, hindsight though, the only thing, I don't have regrets, but I understand that, like, the colleges or even like HBCUs or something like that, because I went to Forest Park for like a semester, but I was already making money doing what I was, so I was like, whatever. But you know, that experience, that connection, but yeah, man, so, you know, I got signed to Atlantic, and to be honest, everything came to a halt. Like, I understand, when I got signed to Atlantic, I knew nothing about business. So all I knew was I wanted to rap. So I would go in these meetings. I'm right in front of that's the first time I met Jay-Z. I went up to Def Jam, and I went to L.A. Reid office, and I'm sitting in there with him, and I perform in front of him. Matter of fact, I performed in front of one of the executives, and L.A. Reid's son was in the room. And L.A. Reid's son go down to his office and say, hey, you gotta see dude. So was you at the point where you was already signed to Atlantic? This was before. This was like on the verge. Okay, because I went to, it was like, and this was before 360 did, so it was like really a big deal, because I'm going between, I went right up to Def Jam, right up to Capitol, right up to Atlantic, you know, going in through Tarboy, because he was, you know, he platinum, all that, so he just walking me right in. And I know L.A. Reid, he brought me in the office, and it was like kind of precious, because he invited all the women in the office into his office, like called all them in there, and then like just like out of a movie, I'm standing in the room, and I hear like the laugh, and I'm like, no. And Jay-Z hit the corner, and come in there and like talk to me and my mom and like, yeah, like he stayed in there while performing and everything. It was like, yeah. Like I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I got like little stories like that around the way. But ultimately, since I didn't know nothing about the business, when it came to a halt, everything was at a halt. So it was like by the time I was probably like 16, 17, I had like a full album done. We had ran through the budget doing the album, and I believe like Tarboy relationship kind of fell out with the label. So it was like I had no voice. So everything was just kind of sitting still. So to be honest, Wow 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 was the very first record I did just on my own, going to the studio. I got an idea. Yeah, like not no Atlantic paying for it, not Tarboy telling me to come on. Like
it ain't planned it.
Yeah, nothing. It was one of them things where I used to do a chant on the radio because we would go to the club. This when we doing Onyx and Rio and all that.
You talking about Ratchet Radio?
Yeah, Ratchet Radio. And so we would go there and it was like, we was really living like that. So it's like, you know, I cuss on her, I don't know, you know, but yeah. So it's like we was really fucking with ratchet ass hoes. So, and it was, I mean, one time we out and my boy Zoe like, man, this how we point them out. Every time we see, cause it would be, you know, girls was messing with niggas in the same crew. So, man, this how we point out them ratchets like this. So we started doing the chant, wow, wow, wow. So really, it just started as a chant in the club. Like when we would be at Onyx, I would go up top and, you know, the club would be rocking, and I remember, I'll never forget, they would play that VIC, that Get Silly instrumental.
Okay, yeah.
And I would just start doing, wow, and then, and by that third week, the whole club, wow. I'm like,
I need to make a song.
So I think around that same time, what's crazy is, rest in peace, Huey. Around that same time, Huey did Pop, Lock, and Drop a video on the south side, right across from where I grew up. I went over there, I met Loudy. I'm like, man, I got something I wanted. He like, come out to the crib. Boom, I went out to the crib. We recorded, basically I recorded the hook over another beat. Like it was either the Get Silly beat or something like that. I recorded it and Loudy just started building beats around it. So he made like 2 that was cool. So we in there all night to the point where I fall asleep. And then when I wake up to that sound. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, nah, that's it, bro. That's it. He like, nah, so he playing. And I just go in there and cut it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like one of them ones where you just know, like, you just kind of, because I remember I'm riding the car and I didn't make it home because I'm pulling up on niggas. Like, bro, come outside, listen to this. And it's back Ferguson. So I mean, we at Fairground, we pull up to Fairground, hop out, everybody we sat, I'm burning CDs. Here, just play this in your car. People, you know, and it was really like an organic, a genuine build of it. So it was like, the team, you know, we was really out like that. We was really running around 20, 30 deep. We really, everybody on the same, you know, it was a camp thing. So it was, it was a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? So
that was good.
Yeah.
That was a movement.
It was a movement, bro.
It was a St. Louis movement.
St. Louis movement,
Just
and
like Huey had. It was just like that.
Yeah, man.
So what so how that get you to BET? Cause I know you was there. Then it was like a little wave, and then you was on 106 in Park.
Yep.
So like, kind of take us through like the 106 in Park phase, and even with the downfall, because I heard some things about 106 in Park. Some stuff. Some people was acting weak and stuff.
You know what's crazy, bro? So we at 2020. I was on 106. That was probably like 2012. So we talking about 8 years ago, right? I met Schnooks the other day, bro. Like, and that's why I know what you're talking about, because you know. I'm like, Shorty, what's up? Oh, what's up, bro? Man, fuck Bow Wow. He just screamed it. Bro, it's 8 years later. Like, I don't even feel that way. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't technically that, but we'll get to like how I got into that. But so of course, when I was at a special point in my life, bro, because 2008, I had the #1 song on the radio and the #1 show on the radio. So like in 2008, Wow 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 was whatever in St. Louis, whatever Beyonce had out, whatever Usher had out, whatever, Wow 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 was getting more spins than it.
Yeah.
So, and what's crazy is at this time, I was still signed to Atlantic, but I was doing this outside of them. So I remember I'm trying to call people who I never really called before, like, yo, I got this record, it's going. They was playing me funny though, because like, you don't talk like where Tarboy at?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't
used to you reaching out.
Exactly. So it was like one of them things where I just kind of like indulged in the moment. Like had I know what I know now then, it would have turned into more, you know what I'm saying? But for what it was, like, it was beautiful. But at the same time, you know, so after it was going on, it also like, cause you know where we from, so with the love kind of hate, and I just noticed that, you know, we would go places and the static was probably at a all-time high from, you know what I'm saying, from where it had been, I guess, ever. Yeah. And it wasn't, you know, it was just a little young dumb shit, but, you know, it was there, so it was like at a point where, and then like stuff happened up at the station, so it got to a point where I was like, I was just kind of, I knew I was at a pivotal point. I was ready for something different, something new. I mean, because we were steady dropping records. We dropped Part 2, we dropped Cooler, like we had a formula, and sometimes I even think back like, damn, what would have happened if I wouldn't have left? Because, you know, and I always tell Lottie and Ricky Rock about that because I just love the formula that we had out there.
So why you leaving?
Well, because,
speak on that.
Okay, because so after the, you know, the records and everything going, I got an offer, so I ended up doing radio. I moved over to Hot, and I wasn't getting paid as much as I was getting paid at the beat. Okay. And, you know, by this time I'm coming into, you know, grown man. I'm 19, I'm going into 19, 18, yeah, so it's like, all right, I got to start figuring some things out. So I got an offer, I got a call from Detroit, and they was like, yo, you want to come here and do radio? And I had never been to Detroit. I was like, man, I don't know. So I hollered at my mom about it. I went out there and I hollered at my mom, and she was like, son, I'll never forget this. She was like, you can never change like home. Like, you're gonna be from here whether you love it or not. Like, it is what it is, right? You can go to Detroit, you can go anywhere else, right? And this goes for anybody who even thinking about, even if it's not moving somewhere else, just going to see about another opportunity. Yeah. You can go and completely fuck up and fall flat on your face and still come back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you never go, then you don't know. But if you go and you gamble, at least you know something good come out of it. But the worst case scenario is you come back home. So if you never leave, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So when she said that, I was like, you know what?
That makes sense.
I feel like, you know, I'm gonna go try it out. It was just time, like I said, it was at a pivotal point. I was ready for a little change, so I went to Detroit. And outside of me thinking like, damn, we had a formula, that was probably like one of the best moves of my life, because that alley-oop the 106 thing, because it was a bigger market. And when I went there, I linked up with my bro BJ out there, and we just started taking over the city, and I started dropping music there, and, you know, they could start getting hit from stuff here, and it was like a beautiful connection between Detroit and St. Louis. And so what's crazy is a lot of like the biggest accolades that people would think about my career came to me. Like, it wasn't like I'm calling people or feeling, nah, like I literally checked my email one day and it said BET. It said correspondent or something like that. And it was basically on some like, we've been watching you and we want you to put a reel together. So I put a reel together, and the very first thing they had me do was the red carpet at the Grammys. And I was like, yo, like, and paid me for it and everything. And you know, that was just a hell of a blessing, bro. I just remember being out there in Cali on the red carpet, and it's just like, damn. And I remember Nelly saw me on the carpet. He just like got my suit together, like, damn, you know, cause he watched it too. Yeah. So so after that, you know, I'm doing little things for him, and then, you know, I hosted 106 a couple times. I think I went up there, me and P went up there. We hosted one show, and then Roxy or somebody had something happen in their family, so like, can y'all stay and host the next day? Okay. So we hosted again, and after that, people got to talking, like, man. So then that's when they, so that's when they put the search together, and you know, whatever process, however they played that out, that was all kind of weird how they did that anyway, to be honest. Like, to be honest, it really should have just been me and P, but me and her was together at the time, and they didn't want to pick us because of that. So
I'm waiting on the Bow Wow part.
So this is where he comes in. So after we doing the two, we go to a meeting. They doing all this random ass flying us back, you know, going back and forth. Yeah. And they bring us back one time. So we all, it's me, Stephen Hill, Rick Grimes, a couple other producers. And it's me, P, Miss Mikey, who was on there. And they was like, yeah, so I know you probably looking at each other like, why is it three of y'all? Yeah. And your fourth host is walking in right now. And Bow Wow walks in. And I'm
so
like,
y'all was cool at that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you gotta think, bro. And RJ, like Bow Wow was the shit.
There you go.
Like it's bad, like, bro, like it ain't no way you coming up in our generation and you weren't inspired by him.
There you go.
Like me looking at the TV, seeing somebody my age on there killing shows and touring and snooping in the videos and dancing. You know, we was dancing like, man, listen. So it was like when he walked in, I'm like, damn, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, cool.
I'm in the same room with these guys.
I'm in the same room. It's like, bro, in a way, it's like, damn, I used to have your posters on my wall. Now you my coworker.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So it was kind of like, in a way, it was kind of like, all right, yeah, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you need a job too. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, I will say ultimately, bro, the whole experience, everything I go through, bro, I'm glad I did it. Like, it was, I will say this is what I will say about it. I knew almost immediately when I got up there and got in them offices, I knew why 106 in Park wasn't the 106 in Park we grew up with. Like, when I really saw how stuff was being run and who was calling shots and the type of plays they really putting together and how they trying to, and they made it less about the music and the videos and more about
how it looked like that for us on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it was like you got up in there and it's like, oh, I think I'm on a sinking ship.
What?
You know what I'm saying? But I'm here. That's why every time I signed off, I would say St. Louis, Detroit love. Every time. And sometimes they would say, I remember, you know, and sometimes I would pour on the accent just a little more just because they would ask me not to. Because I already knew in my mind, like, y'all could let me go tomorrow, or this could be over tomorrow.
It don't even matter about me.
Yeah, like one thing for sure, by the time it's over, you know, I want to be able to say that I really put on like this. So, yeah, bro, it was a hell of an experience. I got some great stories and relationships out of it. You know, I hotboxed the bathroom with Snoop Dogg at BT Studios. You know, I got
a lot of great moments.
Just a lot of great moments, man. I mean, legendary stuff, bro. Legendary.
Being a young man too.
Yeah, and I always knew like I wanted to sit on that couch. I just remember being a little nigga in my room, like, man, I'm gonna get on that couch, and I got on that couch. It wasn't in the way I thought, because I always thought, yeah, they're gonna interview me, but I got on that couch. You know what I'm saying?
You got on that couch, and
I got on that couch.
way that God made it for you to get on that couch.
Boom.
You know, and you was grateful for it.
Yeah,
you know
for sure, bro.
So that brings us to where we at now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro.
Shorty, with the change, Shorty,
yeah.
Like, you know, with the Shorty that people look at right now, with the good positive energy that's on your IG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So like, take us to the Shorty right now. Like even if you had to tell a young man that's growing up in St. Louis, that's fighting to get on that couch, or just fighting to do what they want to do, what would you tell them?
Ultimately, bro, I think that, you know, I could say things to like somebody coming up and say, hey man, this is what you gotta do, but I don't know your path. I just know that don't wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is you wanna do, bro, don't wait, and it ain't never gonna be the perfect time. It ain't never gonna be enough money. It ain't never gonna be like, it's never gonna be there. Like, that perfect time ain't gonna happen. One of the things I read is like, man, you gotta create, you know what I'm saying, those opportunities that you want. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I do with like the live experience. Like, it's a long line of stuff like in between there. Like after, cause I moved after 106. I went and did, cause I did a show on Fox after that. I did a show on Fox with Ryan Seacrest called Knock Knock Live, which probably ran for 2 weeks, but damn near paid me more than 106.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? So
for the whole time you was there?
For the whole time, damn near. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't, you know, so it was a couple of little things after that, still doing radio and still like, you already know we hustlers, so it's like, I'm gonna always get to it. Yeah, I'm gonna always get to it, bro. But it got to the point where, I think after I left DC, man, I had a great run in DC on the radio. And I got to a point where I just knew that I was not the same, and I wasn't really still feeling the realm I was in. I wasn't really feeling the clubs no more. Yeah. I wasn't really, because of what I saw was that people love position. They don't really love you. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would know that I'd be in the club hosting one time, and there'd be niggas I never even met, and they come and doing this, and the girls want to, you know, come get you. And my whole thing is like, it ain't me, it's whoever's in this position. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what, man? Like, once I knew it, I did a year extension and I just started stacking my money. And then I went out to Cali, bruh, and like damn near went clean. Like I deactivated my IG, Twitter, and everything for like 4 or 5 months, bruh. Start waking up every day, reading the Bible, or just reading. Like I would either read the scripture or just reading. And I was staying by Santa Monica, so I would get up, I'd run to the beach, I'd smoke a J, I'd read, I'd work out, I'd work on music, and that was my days. Like my day, that was the most different my life had ever. My life went from being clubs and parties 4 or 5 nights a week to that. Like literally, like my days was focused on self, you know, and I had never, and I feel like as a man, bruh, we all have points of transition, and a lot of times we don't get to choose them. You know, you either get locked up, or somebody close to you get killed, or, you know, sometimes you never even make it to that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I got to choose mine, and that's what I saw. You know what I'm saying? So,
and even speaking on that, speak on the I just seen you upload a clip like the other day.
Right.
It was going crazy, like the black woman.
Oh yeah, the black queen.
Speak on that.
Man, that live music, song, man. Yeah, that.
Speak on what a black queen really mean to you. The live music though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's just. But I mean, yeah,
what's
like
what's behind the live music? Because we get the live music.
Yeah.
We don't get like the thoughts and the passion that's getting put into that. Or
right.
Like, look, man, I look at my women as if they black queens. I don't look at them like they ratchet no more.
And that's what's crazy, because it's like, it didn't even hit me because I know who I am now, and that's so true to me now, that I'm like, damn, I'm the same cat that made ratchet ass hoe, and now I'm black queen, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and the thing is, because that's where it is, it's like, especially in a time where it's so easy for black men to get on the platform and water down a black woman, or say, you know, this ain't exotic, or this ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't come from black women.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's up to us to be on that defense and be on that offense for black women, because they always on that for us, and we all come from black women. So it's like, who are we to denounce that, and who are we to say this ain't that? You know what I'm saying? Because that's my favorite type of woman, a black woman. So, you know, it's in a time where us as people, black men and black, you know, we know what the times are now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's very important that we
at least acknowledge
it and our own, bruh. And we got to be the ones to glorify and uplift. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that came from, bruh. Like really, you know, feeling like that, man. Like really appreciating the woman, and appreciating how even I seen, to be real, to see how I seen some of them ratchet ass hoes grow into black queens. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we went from wild little niggas to being kings. You know what I'm saying? So how come we can't grow and they can't? Like, it's at the end of the day, we all go through stuff, so we all grow through stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's good. So how you doing? How you doing now? Like,
oh, I'm great,
good.
Bro.
Everything good with you?
Yeah, man.
You know, mindset. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Everything good.
I think ultimately, you know, once I grasped one of the things I started living by was that feelings ain't facts. When I stopped caring about everybody else's opinion about what I'm doing, then that allowed me to move easier and flow like water, like how I was supposed to. Because, you know, a lot of times we will or won't do something based on what other people say about it or think about it. And feelings ain't facts, bro. Everybody gonna feel a certain way about everything, but that don't make it concrete. You know what I'm saying? The facts are, we sitting on grass right now. A feeling ain't a fact though. You know what I'm saying? So whether I feel your shit is good or what, even if I always say, don't get too up when they gas you, don't get too down when they trash you. You know what I'm saying?
That's real, man.
Like that's just what real. It is. So ever since I grasped that, bro, everything has been like just flow. You know, you still get to your points of where your inspiration ain't there, or where you might be lost or whatever. You know, I talk to God, I get right with Mary Jane. You know what I'm saying? And I just continue the forward movement. Even if you at a point where your inspiration ain't there, focus on other areas. Focus on your discipline. You know what I'm saying? Focus on your fitness, whatever it is, but just never stop. Never stop. And that's one thing about me, like I'm never gonna stop. I'm gonna always grow. And I'm glad that people like her have latched on to it. And the shows be selling out when I do them. And people come, and it's majority black women, black queens, you know, and they coming because we get to a point here in St. Louis where you either just stop going out, or you just gotta settle for the ratchet shit. I would notice that when I would go to DC or Cali, they got little vibes where it's that in between where you ain't gotta go and be in the rah-rah, and you can still go out and sip your drink or whatever and listen to some good vibes. So it was one of them things, instead of being one of them people like, man, St. Louis ain't got this, I'm like, I need to create this. You know what I'm saying? This is a moment for opportunity. So that's what I did, bro, and I'm gonna continue to do it. You know, Corona going on, so everything a little different right now. That's why we did the taping. But you know, the show is about to start back, and I took them. You know, I took one to Chicago, took it to DC, so I want to get back on the road with them, man, and you know, investing in some other things. Got a trucking company going as well, and doing some consulting on the radio end as well, man.
That's
so
good,
I'm
man.
just
that's
I'm
some
blessed,
good stuff.
Man.
Well, look. I appreciate you, man.
You already know.
I appreciate you, man. We could do this for a long time, man. So we got to stop, though. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, I appreciate you, man. Everything you doing, man, is legit, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I see the change in you. I see the growth, the maturity, the positivity, man. And
as I and you, bro.
Until next time, bro. We got to do this again, man.
Yeah, part 2.
This is another episode. Speak on it, man. I got my boy Reggie's son. Follow him.
The EP out right now. Reggie Sunday on all platforms. I got a new single out right now called My Jill. We gonna put a live EP out. The Black Queen was one of 5 records that we did that day. So we gonna
shout out to all the Black Queens, man.
Yeah. So we gonna mix that down and put that out on a live EP, man. So yeah, man, just grow through it. Just grow through it.
And we out, man. I'm the host, the Life Changer.
Yo, what's the word, man? It's Reggie's son, aka Second Son, down here with the Life Changer. We in the loop, baby. Understand that, man. We about to jump into that Black Queen. Salute to all my Black Queens. It's love, man. Speak on it. Look, can I do something for the Black Queen? Look, all right now, Black Queen. Just the way you are, no, not mixed with anything. I ain't knocking, I'm just propping up the Black Queen. Cause the way it seems when I'm looking on these screens, they all touring features competing to be the same thing. But the way you flow is better than the mainstream. Look at them knocking, used to be jocking you in your preteens. Like what's the proper way to compliment you? So you don't think I'm trying to fuck, just know I'm fucking with you, Black Queen. So versatile the way you switch the style. So you could braid it up or chop it off or wear it out. So you could glam it up or rock the sneakers, dress it down. You make your mammy and your granny proud. Say it loud, Black Queen. Blackberry juices, cause your fruit is just the sweetest thing. Bumping your music loud, all up in the shower, singing or cussing people loud. Why you out here road raging? Look the way you shine, it feel like I'm stargazing. That melanin they craving, got them out there for days trying to get your color sunbathing. I know you hate when lame niggas be like, what you mix with? Like what the that's supposed to mean? Just tell them boys that you's a black.
So you 10 years old now, and I know it took a toll on you in a way. You call my phone at night a lot of times crying, saying, Daddy, I wish you was here, and a lot of stuff like that, and you really didn't understand at the time. Yeah, but even looking back, how did you feel, and what was you like going through when it happened? Because I know understand that you good and stuff right now, and everything okay. But at that time, at that moment, what was you going through?
I was going through like, why can't it be like my mom and dad be in the same house? Why they gotta be separated? Like, I don't understand, for real.
So, in that process, was it hard going to school, sleep, even with practice? Because you ran track that year, and that's why I said we're gonna talk about that. Because you ran track that year, and